Hey guys, Mr. Baines here with Emma and Adia. So we're going to be talking about the nature of science. Playing with a new tool. Hold on, give me a second to set it up. There we go. I'm using something called Google Hangouts, which lets me see my screen while I talk. Alright, here we go. We're starting with the nature of science. First thing you need to do, you need to add this to your table of contents. Alright, so go ahead and pause it and do that right now. Alright. Here are our learning objectives for today. We're going to make observations and inferences and hypotheses and start to think like scientists. This is the measurement topic and the learning target that we're going to do. So big words we're going to use today: observations, inferences, and hypotheses, or hypothesis. First, let's talk about an observation. An observation is when we describe our environment using our 5 senses. I have 3 examples here. The caterpillar is green with black legs. Ponderosa pine trees smell like vanilla, which is true. And that caterpillar is wrapping itself in silk. These are all observations that I can make. I use my 5 sentences and I explain what's going on using just those 5 senses. Please, in your own words, you're going to write down this definition. So here's how we're going to write down definitions. You're going to make what we call a tip chart. Tip chart has the term, so you'll write observation here. Tip chart has information. That's going to be the definition in your own words. And then a picture. Okay, and draw a picture of the word there. Go ahead and make a tip chart right now. And here's an example. Okay, so triangle is a shape with 3 sides, angles that add up to 180, and there's my picture. So make a tip chart for the word observation. Go ahead and pause it. Okay, now that you've made your tip chart, you need to add the word observation to your index with the correct page number. So we're going to go to your index. You're going to turn to the page with O on it. You'll go to observation, or you'll write observation and page 3, which is the page we wrote it on. Observation, write it kind of small because we might have a bunch of O words. Alright. Write your answer to this question in your notebook. Which of the following is an observation? A. That caterpillar will someday turn into a butterfly. B. I don't like green caterpillars. C. That green caterpillar is giving off an odd odor. Or D. That egg is rotten because of the way it smells. Go ahead and write your answer down. Pause it if you need to. The correct answer is C. That green caterpillar is giving off an odd odor. A is an inference. Okay, you only know this because you've seen a bunch of caterpillars. If it was the first time you'd ever seen a caterpillar, you wouldn't know that it would turn into a butterfly someday. So that's not an observation. This is an opinion. Observations are not opinions. They're just a statement of the facts. And D, that egg is rotten because of the way it smells. Okay? If you had just said the egg smells bad, that's an observation. But you're going beyond that and saying that it's rotten because of how it smells. So that's not an observation. So the caterpillar smelling oddly is an observation, just a statement of the facts. Inference. This is when you bring your past knowledge or experience to make a judgment based on an observation. For example, the caterpillar is wrapping itself in silk, will turn into a chrysalis soon, and then become a butterfly. You know that caterpillars turn into a butterfly. So you can guess, you can infer that it's going to become a butterfly when it starts to wrap itself in silk. The sap inside the pine tree is what makes it smell sweet. So the reason ponderosa pines smell good is because of their sap. Okay, if you've ever touched a pine tree and gotten sticky stuff on you and it smells really sweet, that's the sap inside. You wouldn't know what sap was unless you had experienced it before or you had past knowledge. Make a tip chart for this word and then add it to your index. Go ahead and pause it. Okay. Which of the following is an inference? Write your answer in your notebook. A, that egg smells bad, so it must be rotten. B, I don't like green caterpillars. C, that green caterpillar is giving off an odd odor. Or D, that egg is a brown color. Go ahead and write it in your notebook. Go ahead and pause it. All right, the correct answer is A. All right, this is an opinion, not an observation or inference. This is an observation, and so is this. C and D are both observations, so the correct answer is A, because you know eggs can go rotten. You have some past experience with rotten eggs. All right. What you need to do for this one is write an observation and an inference for this picture that you see here. All right, so an observation, what do you see? Just really simply, what do you see? And then an inference, what can you guess? What can you tell me about this picture? All right, so maybe the size of the footprints, maybe what type of creatures these are, or if they're creatures at all. Okay, so what do you see? And then what can you infer? Go ahead and pause it, write down an observation and an inference. Okay, let's have a look at the next picture. All right, there's going to be a third picture of this, but I want you, before we get to the third picture, you need to write one more observation about this one and an inference about this one. So one more observation and an inference. What do you see? And then what do you think is going on? That would be your inference. Okay. Go ahead and pause it, write down your observation and inference. Okay, before we do the third one, we got to talk about a special word. It's hypothesis. A hypothesis is an if-then statement that makes a prediction that can be tested. For example, if the green dinosaur has bigger feet, then it is a bigger dinosaur and probably eats other dinosaurs. You could test this. We've collected lots of fossils of dinosaurs, and you could measure its feet and then compare it to other footprints, and you could see whether it's a carnivorous dinosaur or not. You can test this. All right? Please write down a tip chart for hypothesis. Make a tip chart for hypothesis, then add it to your notebook on the correct page, page 3. Go ahead and pause it. Okay. All right. Now, what do you think you're going to see in the third picture? So here's the two pictures again. There's another picture that's going to go right here on the right side. What do you think you will see in this third picture? All right. So if you think the dinosaurs were fighting, then something would happen. Or maybe you think if the dinosaurs are both plant eaters, then something else would happen. So tell me, what do you think would happen? Write a hypothesis. Go ahead and pause it and write your hypothesis. Okay, let's see that third picture. Here it is. You might have predicted correctly, but now we only see one set of footprints leaving this little area here. All right, so please make a final observation and inference for these three pictures. Go ahead and pause it, make your observation and inference. All right, couple more questions, and I think we're done. The pink dinosaur footprints have disappeared. This is an example of a or an. Is it an observation, an inference, a problem, or a theory? Write your answer in your notebook. Go ahead and pause it. Okay, the correct answer is A, observation. This is just a statement of the facts. Okay, we go and look at the picture. Here we have pink dinosaur footprints, and then in the final picture, there are no pink dinosaur footprints. They've disappeared. Statement of the facts, this is something I observed. I'm not making an inference or anything. I didn't say that it was eaten or anything like that. That was just an observation. And then, what about this question? Write down the answer to this question in your notebook. The pink dinosaur footprints have disappeared, which makes me think that the smaller dinosaur was eaten by the larger dinosaur. This is an example of observation, inference, problem, or a law. Go ahead and pause it and write down your answer in your notebook. Okay, the correct answer is B, an inference. So I took an observation, the pink dinosaur footprints have disappeared, and then I figured that the larger dinosaur must have eaten the smaller dinosaur. That's an inference. Okay, that's not an observation. This part's an observation, but going a little bit further makes it an inference. All right. This is where I got my activities from, and this is the end of this part. So let me take you to what you have to do next. All right. You need to go to Google Classrooms. When you get here, to prove to me that you've watched this video, you'll find this assignment that I posted, and there's a Google Doc in there. So to prove to me that you have watched this video, you need to click on the Google Doc. When you do, this page will load up. Okay. You'll need to write your name, the date, the period, all right, and then answer all 5 of these questions. After you've done that, I'd like you to take a picture of your notes if that's possible. You could do it with your smartphone or your parent's smartphone, or maybe the Chromebooks or your computer's webcam, all right? And then insert that picture into this Google Doc. If you can do that. If you can't, that's okay. But you're going to insert it. Go to Insert Image. Okay. Pick the image from your computer, and then it'll upload, and I'll be able to see that too. This way you won't lose your notes. After you've done that, and you click in here, yours will say My Assignment, and yours won't look like this. You'll have a button, a blue button that says Turn In. Click that blue Turn In button. When you do that, I'll be able to see your work and see that you've watched this video. That is all for this video, and I'll see you next time.